Hello. Oh, I just that was you. Okay. Let me hit up Steve. Hola.
Hola.
Hi
So,
guys.
hola. I didn't know who it was. I just said hola. I'm recording this. Is that okay? I figured I would just get in the habit of scheduling the stand-ups to automatically send out a link and then record it, so that way anybody that wants access to it can have it. Sorry, I'm just contacting the SL. Okay. All right, Lou. Here's Lou. Excuse me, Lou. Is it okay if we record this? Is that okay? I have it recorded for. Is it okay if I record this meeting?
Why are you asking me? Yeah.
Well, I mean, just I want to get people's permission. You know, I don't want to just like record and then, you know, I don't know, like somebody's kid walks naked in the background or something. I don't know. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fine.
I don't know. Lorelai, she's running out of the bathtub or something. You know.
Yeah, she's napping.
Okay, cool. Because I know.
I promise you my dogs won't
Yes.
run naked.
Oh, they're always naked.
Not always.
Wait, what? You clothe your dogs?
Doggo sweaters.
They get cold. They get
Really?
cold in the winter.
Really?
We keep our heater on, like max of 60s because it's so expensive.
Oh. Oh, Beta. Oh, Beta and Elise, it's okay if we record these Zooms? Is that okay? No? Okay, let me shut it off. Oh, okay, all right. Joking around. Now Nikki was gonna want to ask for it, so. Okay. Let's just get started and then they can hop in. Because I think we're just waiting for Bryant and for Nikki, and Desiree has not responded. I believe she's still sick. She was sick yesterday. Okay, let's go around 60 seconds. Breakthroughs. What breakthroughs did you have today? Let's start with Beta.
I guess my breakthroughs for the day were probably I got 2 of them done. Yeah, that's it. I'm really stuck right now. like really stuck on this rock paper scissors thing. Yeah.
So what breakthrough did you have to get unstuck with the first one that you completed? Or second one, sorry, the second one was more hard.
Yeah, the second one was harder. That was a stock one. I used the example that they gave us in the README, not the README. I looked at the tests and I looked at what they were expecting.
Okay.
And then I tried to build out something that can give me that result.
That's smart.
And then I kept doing it like that until I got something that works for all 4 of them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Popcorn.
Popcorn to my right, Tani.
I had a slow start today, so needless to say, I am not very far in this assignment, as in I am still working on trying to get.
But the breakthrough, though, what about the breakthrough? I want to hear about the breakthrough.
The breakthrough was last night, not today, but yes, I had a wonderful breakthrough because I went to TL hours to work on yesterday's assignment, and it was wonderful. And I asked to go again today because it works. I do well with like a verbal explanation. I have a hard time with like reading things, and so that was very helpful for me. Plus, it ended up just at the end of the night, it was kind of just 2 of us for like an hour. So I had a lot of one-on-one time, and it was a great night for me. It was late. It was like midnight, but it was otherwise very good for me.
Girl, you better tell your husband about that. Come on now. One-on-ones with other men like that for over an hour. Come on. All right.
He wouldn't
Popcorn.
even Jade, your turn.
So my breakthrough has to do with, because I'm kind of behind since I missed today, I have the first part of the recursion assignment done. So I basically got stuck on it last night, and this morning was able to actually get through it by kind of making sure I pseudocode and make sure I understand and plan out the problem better. So yeah, that was my breakthrough today. And next, popcorn, Luis.
I was stuck on the stocks for a while, and I figured out the breakthrough there was kind of I was trying to solve it recursively, and I was losing the value of profit after like a recursive call. So I ended up actually just sort of doing like nested if-else statements. And instead of calling it recursively, I did sort of like a pseudo recursive call where it just called it one more time. And then if it failed that, it did something else. But it works, pass all tests, and kind of got me thinking outside of just like this one mindset of like having to use recursion.
It must have been a hard day because you're sitting down and I'm standing up. It's usually the other way around. So that's yeah, it's good you had a breakthrough. Popcorn.
Let's go with Elise.
Oh, perfect timing. Yeah, let's see. Let's talk about my day. It's been interesting. I haven't really done much coding, but I feel like things are getting better, I guess. I don't know. I just need life events not to occur in the middle of school, then it will be great. But, you know, I'm picking up the pieces and running with it at this point. Yeah. So let's see. Popcorn. Catherine, have you gone already? I don't remember.
I haven't. Yeah, I guess breakthroughs today. Well, I pair programmed with someone who I'd worked with in labs. And so we ended up getting through 3 problems together. So like, I don't know, I think like working with other people, I think is just the way I need to work. So that's my breakthrough. Yeah. And then the recursion stuff, I'm trying not to overthink it, because if you're trying to like think about like what it's actually doing, then you're just like, your mind can't process that. So I'm trying not to like stare at it like too intently. So.
Wait, so like right now, like if you're thinking about that time you thought about it, is that recursion or no? Okay, all right. Popcorn, sorry.
Fractal, everything, yeah. Nikki.
I just knew you were going to pick me. Breakthroughs, not that much on that area, but I'm figuring things as I go. Today's project, I'm just really moving slow because I absolutely have no idea what I'm doing, but I think I'm getting some type of an idea. So right now I'm working on trying to figure out what the max profit is supposed to be computed by, because I was thinking maybe like I'm supposed to be subtracting some price by another price. I don't know. Maybe I'm confusing myself. I don't know. So, and my house is full of kids right now. So after stand up, I'm just going to chill for a little bit, get everybody ready for bed, and probably get back on it. And my OTL wants to pair program. So if you guys, some of y'all are up, we can all do it together.
Like Michael?
Yeah, Michael. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I believe that's everybody, right? Everybody has gone. Bryant is at his daughter's birthday party. That's right. Okay. Daughter's birthday. Christmas party. Sorry, Christmas party. And Desiree is sick, so that leaves all of us here. I was wondering if it'd be okay if Jade could just share like what she shared with me with her during her one-on-one. She had like a really good explanation and just had some really good pseudocode that just want everybody to witness. And yes, it was on yesterday's material, but then after that, we can choose whether or not to do a Project Euler problem or if we want to focus on one of today's problems together.
Okay, so this is kind of like part of, not kind of, this is part of my breakthrough. So last night I just kind of went into studying too much or looking at recursion too much, and I was confused about what these two functions were supposed to do. And I was focusing on this first one without really understanding where I needed to be. So I took a break, and then this morning and after the lecture, I kind of pulled this, which was from Beej's code that he put into the notepad. And then I kind of read through what exactly it was asking and started pseudocoding a lot. So the first thing was actually figuring out which function was doing what, and remembering that this is the helper function, which is going to actually sort and merge the pieces together. So that's this bottom part. So I realized I needed to work on actually splitting everything. So I went down here, and a lot of the remarks you're seeing here are like the third or fourth or fifth iterations of them. But I decided to make the variable n to do the length of the array. And then I did the midpoint, which is kind of like the pivot he did on one of the sorting examples, and just called it mid and divided, because I realized since we have the full length of the array, it needs to be divided in half. And then after that, I went through and realized if length of the array is bigger than 1, we need to keep dividing until it gets down to the length equaling 1. And then here I went and did the left half, which is the recursion part of merge sort, which is taking the array at the mid and slicing it to the left. And there's a whole bunch of prints. This is kind of what I was talking about yesterday with printing like everywhere and anywhere just to see where it was going so that I could kind of understand what was happening. Let me bring the terminal up. This is kind of how I figured out, I know it's kind of a mess, exactly what I needed to do. So we have n, which shows that that array is 10, and it prints out the array just to see what's happening, and then dividing it in half. And then this is after it's split in half. So it shows this first part, just the left part, is being divided up, and then it kind of goes all the way down until we finally get to the single indices here. Hope that made sense.
That was awesome. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
Okay. So for the rest of the time, like I know we normally do a Project Euler problem, and you know I know some people are still stuck on today's stuff. So I mean, if you want to, like, we could definitely go through today's stuff because I feel like that may benefit some of you, some of us. So who votes for a today problem that somebody successfully solved, or we could just do one that nobody has solved, try to do it together. Anybody? Don't all jump at once.
I say we do a today problem.
I vote.
Okay, let's do it. Everyone's cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody have a problem they want to share that they feel like was particularly hard and they were able to get the right solution, had a breakthrough? Anybody? Catherine?
I share my stock prices.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
If people want. I didn't do recursive. Let's
see.
No problem.
So I just followed the README and kept track of the current min price so far and max profit so far. So I initialized that as the first element subtract from the second element, and then the current min price as just the first element in the array. And then for, I did a for loop of the range from 1 to the length of the array. If prices at I is less than the current min price so far, then reassign the current min price so far to prices at I. Else if the prices at I minus the current min so far are greater than the max profit so far, then reassign max profit to be prices at I minus current min price so far, and then return max profit. So I like this one, my friend, we had to like redo this. So I had this like an original code, and it was like working for everything except for the one with the negative number with the descending array. But what helped me is I would draw it out and just said, okay, well, how do they define that in the test case? Like, how do they get to that number? Yeah. And so then changing the range to 1 instead of just like the length of the array, starting at 1, it now works. So.
Very good. Thanks for sharing that. Would you mind walking us through Palya's problem-solving method, and then also adding in like comments in between the code, kind of like Jade did, so that we can, so people can understand exactly what's happening on each line, and like
Okay.
the rationale behind it a little bit, I guess.
Well, so first I started with the README, trying to understand the problem, because that's always, I feel like, the biggest thing. So the bot stuff, like that was, I was like getting confused. I like was just trying to like ignore that kind of things and trying to see like what's actually happening. And so that I know that I want to find, whatchamacallit, I went to the hints, and you want to find the max difference between the smallest and largest prices, but we also need to make sure that number has come before it. So I know that in looping, I knew I was going to have to store price. I'm going to have to store something and potentially reassign it as I'm looping through. And then they're like, so what if we keep track of this and that? I was like, well, those are my variable names now. So, and so what I originally did is, this reminded me of the slowest key problem from HackerRank. And so I know, like with a for loop, you can't return. I wasn't able to like return inside it, so I know I'd have to return outside of it, but I know I'd want to do a reassignment inside. So what I was doing, I would loop through and print. So I just knew I was going to have to go through, keep track of this and compare, and then reassign. So that's how I understood the problem. And then I thought the code was like as close to English as I could get it. So initializing, here you are. Here you're initializing.
Does anybody have any questions or anything? Anybody need any clarification or anything on like how Catherine did something? Anybody? Nobody? Everyone's all burnt out?
Well, it's not a question about how she did it. Just a question for like my understanding
Mm-hmm.
for this. Would we what would we consider like the base case? Like, is there one, or would
Catherine,
it?
can you answer that question?
Well, I mean, base case would be, I feel like more like in a recursive solution, when you're like going towards something and you don't want it to go on forever in an infinite loop. So for this, it was just an iterative solution, kind of. Yeah. I mean, that's my understanding.
I thought so. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good question.
Yeah.
Good question. Yeah, the solution they have in the that they provide for the TLs, it is not a recursive solution. And I probably told some of this to you all in our one-on-ones, but the recursive solution is generally not the solution that most engineers would go with in the real world, just because it's like highly unstable, can cause like stack overflow. So yeah, generally the iterative solution is going to be the better solution, but they may ask you in an interview to code up the recursive solution. So it is important to know like how to do that. Nice, Catherine. We still got a little bit of time here. You guys want to try to do another one of the algorithms problems?
Thanks, Catherine. She actually just answered my question that I had with my code, so I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
I have a question that's super simple to answer, and Jade or Catherine can answer it. What is the extension that you have that uses the dots? Because I know that there's the indent. I know that there's a color indent, but I didn't really like the way that looks. I like the dots that you guys have.
I just got that today when I was like, because I was running into like syntax stuff. It's a Python extension in VS Code that it had prompted me, and then it's like PEP8, something PEP8.
Right.
I got like two something things installed that were prompted. I just like said yes to VS Code and let VS Code install it.
Probably PyLint, and then using like PEP8 rules guidelines. So you can look that up. Obeda, I remember you saying, no problem. Obeda, I remember you saying that you had some issues with the rock, paper, scissors one. Or did you get that one yet, or not yet? Let's look at that one real quick. We got some time. Why not? Somebody want to throw it up, or can you throw it up on can you share it real quick and we can just look at it together?
I have not a single line of code, just so you know, but I can share it.
And that's totally okay. All right, so let's figure out our objective here in case anybody is reading this for the first time as well. So what's our objective, team? Okay, anybody? Somebody give me the ultimate goal of writing an algorithm for this. Just blurt it out.
You want all the possible, I guess, plays or outcomes of playing this game, no matter the input.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, we need a list of lists, right? That will basically generate all the possible plays that can be made in this game. All right, can somebody tell me the expected input for our algorithm? And how many we're gonna have, what data type it is.
Number of rounds will be an integer.
Mm-hmm. And just one or more?
Should
Well, I think in the outer function, you're only getting the integer. You're only passing it in. I think that's what they have it set up. But then they recommend doing an inner function to do the recursion. That's what they say in the note in the hints.
Got you.
But I don't know exactly what we're passing to the inner function. I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
Oh, Beta in the background.
I can tell you guys. Oh, I have the solutions for the recursive or the iterative. Whichever way you guys want to try to solve it, we can work towards that, and I can start throwing out some hints here. But okay, so go ahead.
So I can tell you where I got stuck. If that
Okay.
helps and walk you through. So,
Let's do it.
Yeah. So essentially, I know that we need, as you can tell, there's a lot of writing. I essentially got down to this thing where we need n-2 and n-1. But after that, I have no clue, because if we do n-2 and n-1, you end up with 2. But if you look at, for example, the test cases, if it's 3, you end up with 3, right? But I just don't know where to go from there. So essentially what you have on the top is you have the n, that's the input. So let's say the input is 3, that's the number you're getting in. And then you have a list that says rock, paper, scissors. And you have an internal function that takes in n. And then I don't know what it does in its body. And then it returns the function n-1 or function plus function n-2, which should get you this part right here. But outside of that, I have no clue how to access the actual rock or scissor or paper. And I thought maybe you can also pass in the list itself. But even when you do that, if I do, like, for example, list and then I slice it at 1 each time, I'm still not going to get the answer. At least in my head, it doesn't make sense for me. Like, I just can't, I don't know what the hell's in the body.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay. If we, what about if we wanted to solve it iteratively? Would that be easier? Would anybody be interested in a solution, or is everyone wants to do the recursive solution for this?
Have you ever tried to figure out the combination on a bike lock?
Or an iPhone?
Something like that. Yeah, anything
Yeah.
with any number of digits where you start with just like 0, 0, 0, 1,
Mhm.
0, 0, 2, and just keep iterating like that.
Yep.
If you're passed in 1, you'll want to basically write that, and then do what Obeda said is, for each number you're passed in, run it through something that does basically that. I still haven't tried this, so I'm just talking, but
That's a good starting point.
that's roughly where my brain is at right now.
Okay.
So I thought about doing like a for loop while doing it, but I had understood that for loops with recursion shouldn't be a thing, because you're essentially supposed to avoid the for loops.
I can tell you right now, there's a for loop in the recursive solution.
Oh, thank God. Okay, well then.
So you're not going crazy. You're not crazy,
Okay.
man.
So you're gonna have like a helper function that is the for loop basically, and then would be called recursively for each number of like for each n.
That's correct. So based on that, like, okay, so quick recap then. The non-helper solution, like what is the intention of that one? And then, like you said, the intention of the helper solution is to find the outcomes basically of each round, right? Right, Luis?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see, anybody throw out some ideas? We got to get the juices flowing a little bit. I mean, it's how it works. You know, like you ever watch like Scrubs or like House, you know, like when the residents are all like throwing ideas at each other, like The Good Doctor. Anybody watch Good Doctor? It's a good show. You should watch that.
It is a good show.
Yeah. They know what's up. You got to throw ideas out there, though. You got to get some ideas.
Sean is awesome.
Sean, yeah, he is awesome. Yeah. Anybody? Okay, so Obeda, walk us through what you're getting here. So you're creating a list of the 3 possible plays. Mm-hmm. Can you talk through it too as you're doing it?
Yeah, sorry. So I know
Okay,
this supposed
cool.
to be a helper function, and n is the number that we're getting in, and I know that whatever we're returning should be something like this.
We're also gonna have to add stuff to the, like they said, like a list of results. So we need another list. We need to initialize that like below, like on line 7.
That is correct.
An empty array? Okay.
That is
Then we can pass
correct.
that into.
I don't think we need to pass it in.
We can just append.
No, you do. You do.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking this would act like the cache or whatever it's called that we were doing, and so essentially you would just, which is why I don't know if we even needed this. It'd be something like array equals array, or array equals this, and then you append, and then you add all the helper functions into each other.
Okay, so Catherine's still right though. You will still need to initialize an array on line 7.
Okay.
That is like ultimately the. I don't want to give it away. Okay, so if you're okay, so the inner function that you have right now, you have 3 parameters. There should only technically be 2, but yeah, there you go. Okay, what do you guys think the array in line 7 should be? Like what would that array hold?
Like a list of the results.
Like the total list of lists, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's a list of array, basically an array of arrays. Yeah.
Array of arrays.
Yeah, because remember in the like in the README when we were reading that, like we need to return every single possible number, every possible play for a person.
Yeah.
So like,
So I was okay.
yeah. So same thing, like kind of what Luis was saying. Like, have you ever tried to break into an iPhone or locker combination? Just basically every single permutation, right? Okay, so let's see. You got the rating. Okay. All right. So this is where you got to make your base case, right? So what could you put for a base case? Are you guys working up or are you guys working down?
I don't know. I had written it out as working down. So for me, it was
Yep.
something like.
Yeah, that's correct.
But I guess it would be array.append.
Yep. That is correct.
Why is it you said you're like it's working down? Why is
Elise actually had a really good explanation during our one-on-one. Elise, can you explain the teddy bear analogy you used with me? I mean, it was just so soft and cushiony, and I just hugged the crap out of it because it was a really good analogy. Can you maybe explain that a little bit?
Yes, the merge short teddy bear analogy. So basically, if you were to have 4 teddy bears, how merge sort works is you take your 4 teddy bears and split the 4 up into 2 groups of 2 teddy bears, and then take those 2 groups and separate them so each teddy bear is in its own category. And then working my way back up, the explanation is a little meh, but
yeah, we were just concerned about the going down part, but
okay,
yeah,
good, because I was like, I haven't mastered the part going up.
Sorry. That was Tani's question. That was like, what do they mean by going like down? But just the idea that your base case would be like, okay, when the code hits this point, like, do this thing. So we have data append. Okay. All right. So else turn. Now, remember we talked about your helper function that you can have a for loop in there, Obeda, that you weren't going crazy. You can put a for loop in there just to give you
Well, now I'm muted. Yeah. Well, now I don't know what to put. Now I got to think about it.
So in the,
I
I
have
can
an
tell you
idea.
in the, okay, yeah, go ahead. Let's have somebody attempt it.
But don't you need to loop through the list of plays, the possible plays of rock, paper, or scissors? So like in the
Yes.
helper function, shouldn't you be not be passing in an array? Shouldn't you be passing in like the list, that lists array, and then be looping through that in the helper function? Or no?
Maybe Obeda, can you rename the array on line 7 so it's a little more semantic? Like what is that array describing? Okay, cool. Thank you. To answer your question, Catherine, you'll be iterating through. So that's what the for loop that I've just given you a hint about. Like, yeah, in the for loop, you'll be iterating through like the different possible, I guess, moves that you can make in one play, right? Rock, paper, scissors. So that's what the for loop will be iterating through. So maybe we should name the array on line 6 something else instead of lists. Like maybe call it moves. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Uh-oh, what happened? Come on, VS Code. All right. So does anybody see where this is going now? Is it a little more clear? There you go. And we're also missing something in the first if-else statement. So like whenever you hit your base case, what else has to happen?
You return.
Correct. Yep. So in that first if
You
state,
renamed the array, by the way, Obeda.
good catch. So on line 6, you named it moves. So we got to change all the ARR to moves.
Should the base case be outside of the for loop?
Yes.
Well, I thought there was going to be 2 base cases, right? Because then one of them would just be, I was going to do something like if, so the way I thought about it would be like if n equals 0 outside, then we just return.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Because we want, because the way it looks like the way they're returning it here, I guess, is an array of arrays.
Okay.
So this would then be,
That would be returned as an empty array inside of that.
yeah.
Okay.
No.
I can tell you that in the solution that we have, the base case is inside the inner function. Yeah, and it's outside the for loop.
So then the move and moves is,
So the logic you had inside of that was correct. You just don't need the conditional there. Yeah. Actually, yeah, you can get, yeah. Man, you guys need to get that linter. Okay.
well,
Returning that.
that means we're passing in.
We also need to like add to the array, right?
Correct.
Yeah, this array. Yeah.
Inside the return, or like inside those helper functions, like because right now we have the array